Here with my guy, the coach of the Detroit Lions, 1-0, looked very good and impressive coming off a victory against the hated Minnesota Vikings. Let's jump into it. Kirk, how you doing today, man? I'm pretty good, Kirk. I appreciate you coming on short notice. I know that you guys got a lot going on here with practice and all those things, man, and we always appreciate you coming on the show. So let's jump into some things talking about your team, man. The first thing that stood out to me was Reggie Bush. I mean, he looked incredible. It looked like almost those old USC days. How do you think that this is going to go as the season goes? Is this sustainable for him to get those type of touches? He got 25 touches, had over 100 yards receiving and close to 100 yards on the ground. How sustainable is that for the whole season for him?
I feel very good about him sustaining that this season because, number one, firsthand, I know his character and I know, the type of work ethic he has. He's a guy that's in our building on off days, getting maintenance on his body. I mean, you look around and at some point in time, I mean, he's like the first guy there doing it. He's one of the few guys that actually comes in and does that on an off day. And the thing about our situation, from a running back standpoint, is we also have George Bell, who is that big back, who's also a reliable back out of the backfield, who can, make plays for us out of the backfield, make plays for us on the ground running it. So with the 1-2 punch of him and then Mikel LaShore, who was our second round pick a few years back, and he's primed and ready for a big breakout this year also. So I feel we're 3 to 4 deep back at running back. I mean, and then you got the rookie Theo Riddick to kind of take a lot of those carries too. So I mean, it's running back by committee. I mean, yeah, Reggie's our game breaker, and he's the guy that that home run threat with the home run speed. But the other guys that we have in the stable, they're nothing to look past.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel it's going to be sustainable just because of those aspects. So I feel great about it. I think he's going to have a big year. I mean, you look at what he's done. He's at 2,000 yards in the last 2 years. A lot of people don't realize that.
And I'm very impressed by him too because in Miami he started to really show that he could be that cowbell back. You can actually count on him to get in between the tackles and do some things that we didn't expect that we was going to see from him coming out of USC. And also to that point now, it's supposed to open up a lot of room for Calvin Johnson. When you got a guy that could be a game breaker and at the running back position, you open up space for another game breaker in Calvin Johnson. He only had 4 catches for 37 yards this game, but what's your thoughts on that? Why were the Vikings maybe a little bit more successful in guarding Calvin Johnson? Was this just, an anomaly for the first game of the season?
I mean, on any given play, on any given play, you never really know what you're going to get when it comes to how teams are going to play Calvin. I mean, we've looked at film and we saw teams that have put 2, sometimes even 3 guys on Calvin pre-snap. I mean, we've seen guys lined up on Calvin like they're defending the gunner from running down on punt coverage.
Yeah.
So people respect Calvin and they know what he's capable of doing. I mean, the man's the best receiver in football. So when you command that kind of attention, when people start seeing us put Reggie in the slot on the far side and then you got Calvin on this side, it's like, what do you do? Because there's no safety or linebacker that's going to be able to cover Reggie one-on-one. And then Calvin, I mean, you're going to have to get safety help on his side. So it's just going to open things up for so many things that you can play with and do with our offense. So it's exciting.
Pretty explosive, I got to say. I was very impressed by what the Lions were able to do. If you're just now tuning in Nashville, we are talking to our fourth guest of the day, my guy, Kirk Broussard. You can make sure you check out his info. You can hit him up on Twitter at Coach Kirk Broussard and also on Facebook with that under that same name. Now, Coach, got to ask you about the defensive effort. Looked very good out there. Now, you guys did let up that big run from AP on the first play of the game where he ran off for 78 yards, but after that, pretty much contained him, held him to 15 yards for the rest of the game. What do you think was contributing to that success against Adrian Peterson?
I mean, you look at our situation on defense. I mean, we just have great defensive minds on defense. I mean, Coach Schwartz, the defense. And then you have Coach Gunther Cunningham, the defense coordinator, who has a wealth of experience, years in the league. I mean, he's an NFL legend when it comes to the defense that he's put on the field. So you combine that with the amount of talent we have. I mean, our defensive line is second to none. I mean, Nick Farley is one of the guys I'm closest to. He's a man-child in the middle. And then you have Sue, you know, with his abilities in the middle. And then his first-round draft pick with Ziggy, you know, once he gets healthy, he's had a little injury bug here and there. But, I mean, defensively, you know, we're always going to be, if not great, respectable. And that's really just going to depend on how healthy we are. But, you know, AP is one of those guys where you can bottle him up all game. And he's AP, so he's going to hit one or two.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just,
yeah.
You know, so I think we did a great job against them. And, you know, the Vikings are one of those teams that we're going to have to see again. So, you know how it goes.
Now, let's talk about Sue. You know the elephant in the room with him. You just got that big fine, $100,000, probably the biggest one I've seen handed out by the NFL that I can remember. I mean, he gets this reputation as a dirty player. Everyone wants to say this. Now, you know, you're dealing with him on a day-to-day basis. You see the type of person he is. If it was in any defense of, you know, Ndamukong, what would you say are, you know, something that you can say that's something good about him? Because I'm getting tired, frankly, of people just as soon as they see him getting a penalty, oh, that's just Sue. That's just him doing what he does all the time. He's a dirty player. But off the field, it seems from everything that I've seen, seems like he's an okay guy.
I mean, you know, that's the nature of the beast when you play in that position. I mean, that's a position where you kind of got to turn up. You got to turn up 1,000,000%. And you got to be an animal playing that position. That's one of the most, that position that he plays, I mean, you got to be a man in the NFL to be in the middle like that and deal with, you know, what you deal with in the middle is just so rigorous. So you have to turn up and you have to be a man. And sometimes with the adrenaline and the emotions of the game, if anybody has played the game, you know, sometimes it doesn't stop when the whistle blows. I think that fine was very unfair because I think a lot of the refs are really, I mean, the league is kind of judging him off of his reputation in the past and things that have happened. But I think he was just trying to make a play for his teammate, you know. I mean, in the emotions of a game, possibly he may have not saw where, you know, his linebacker was. I mean, you train to just make a block after a turnover, and that's what he did. I don't think he would ever intend to, you know, take someone's career out. You know, it's not the type of guy he is. And, you know, the things I see about him is that he is a guy that loves his teammates. He loves his defensive guy. He's, you know, taking, you know, all the way 100% dialed into his guys. And, you know, from everybody loves him. He's a good teammate. So I feel, you know, it's just one of the things. And the league has always been like that. When you get a reputation, sometimes you don't get complete fair judgment when things happen. So,
yeah,
you know, it's just one of those things where the emotions of the game, you know, sometimes things happen, you know.
I tend to agree with you on that. I think that his reputation precedes him, and anytime that they see any reason that they can, you know, go in on him, they're going to do that from the league standpoint. Now,
I will say this though, just in the organization, you know, from staff members to like, you know, all the way down to security guards, a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about him. So, you know, in that community with that team, a lot of people have a lot of love for him.
That's what I don't get, because like I hear from NFL circles when I'm down at games with the Titans games, or if I'm out and about, I hear good things about the guy as far as what he does off the field, and then you go on the field like you said, and it changes a little bit. But it's like you said, you got to put your big boy pads on. You're playing probably one of the toughest position in the NFL. You know, dealing with the things that you deal with. So I think some of this is overblown, and hopefully, for the sake of for your team and for Sue, that hopefully this doesn't happen again in the near future. So we won't have to talk about this. But just to move on from it now, it looks like you guys are going to be having the Arizona Cardinals going to be going down to Arizona to give these guys a good run. Bruce Arians just came out and said, hey, you know, our offensive line, you're going to have to bring your big boy pants today because we're going to be going against a hellacious defensive line. What's your thoughts about the Cardinals, and what type of challenge do they bring to the table?
I think the Cardinals have looked pretty good. I mean, you look at what Bruce Arians has done to change the culture of that team. I mean, they look great in week one. I mean, the Honey Badger had a big play. I noticed that. And I mean, they've always been building pieces. They've been getting high first round top picks. So, I mean, it just really took a guy to come in like him and change the culture of the organization, because in the NFL, every team is talented, but you need a coach that can come in and mend all those different personalities together and get everybody on the same page. And they're going to be a tough matchup. I mean, they're at home. So it's going to be a challenge going. It's going to be a really, really good game. We expect a tough matchup.
Now, a couple more for we'll get you out of here. Now, I hear that Reggie is a little banged up. What's the latest, or do you know any information about him, or is he going to be able to be at full speed for this game coming up this weekend?
Even if I didn't know, I couldn't tell you. It's the NFL. I'll say it like this: it's the NFL. So unless he has a broke leg, I would expect to see him, because every game counts right now. I mean, this is where every game counts. So you want your best man on the field, and he's our guy. So knowing his personality and his train of thought the way he is, it would take a lot to keep him off the field because he's that guy that wants to go. He's been a leader. He's been like a great teammate. He's put in extra work after practice. I mean, he's nothing like, what people may think. I mean, he's a great player. He's probably brought in what Detroit was missing, which that leadership. He's been given a lot of leadership.
Yeah, and I think that he's the element that was missing out that offense. I got to admit that because over the years they've been looking and searching high and low for a running back to kind of complete this offense. You guys are great at wide receiver. You're pretty good at quarterback with Stafford. So I think he is the piece that was missing here. We'll get you out here on this one. Going into this game against Arizona, what are some things that you think that, I don't want to, I know that you're limited in what you can say, but what are some things that you think that your team offensively may try to do a little bit different that they couldn't do against a team in Minnesota? Because when I look at Arizona, they have a pretty good defense. You got Patrick Peterson on one side. Like you said, the Honey Badger's been doing his thing. So as much as you can say, what are some things that, you may see out there on the field that may be a little bit different from the game that you've seen against Minnesota?
I think we may try to get the...
She gave her best understanding of the intelligence that had been...
We have a great run game coordinator that came in, so I would look for that. And also, Calvin's a nightmare for anybody he faces. I mean, yeah, you got Patrick Peterson, and that's going to be an epic matchup right there. A lot of people are going to tune in just to watch that matchup alone. So, but, we always find creative ways to get Calvin the ball. So I think, those are some of the keys I would look for.
It's going to be a great game. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. This is my guy, Coach Kirk Broussard. So I can get up there for those preseason games that may be a little bit different from the game that you've seen against Minnesota.
I think we may try to get the running game. Definitely, I appreciate it. And I may actually be coming through Nashville, man. I got some free agent camps coming up that I'm working on. And we are looking at Nashville as one of the spots to come and do a camp in.
You got to come through. I got to make up for the last time that you got close.